it's Tom Diablo Newman here reporting for HMTV. We're here in the lovely Oxford Street for the launch of Diablo 3. People have been waiting for hours, and as you can see, the signs are up. We've got an exclusive interview with one of the developers himself who has signed 4 copies of the game itself for us to give away. Hello, it's Tom Diablo Newman reporting for HMTV, reporting actually on Diablo. Today with me I have Julian, and we're here in the lovely Sanderson Hotel. Julian, first of all, the day has come, 10 years have passed. Is it a relief?
Well, it's not so much of a relief as just feeling awesome. You know, we've been working on this game for an incredibly long time, and we're all fans of it. As well as the developers, and we're really excited just to see the game get into the hands of our fans and our player base and see them get excited and play through the whole thing for the first time. You know, it's just really incredible.
Brilliant. Awesome. A lot of our users are on the various sites. Not a lot of players have actually focused on RTS games and stuff like that. So in a short, brief way, how could you really summarize what Diablo is and what sort of game it is?
Well, Diablo 3 is the definitive action RPG, and a worthy successor to the Diablo series. So, what you can expect is a real easy game to learn how to play, but one that will challenge you as you get to the end as well. So it's easy to learn but hard to master, and you can also expect like a really visceral combat experience with like lots of loot and armor and ways to upgrade your character and customize them. On top of that, maybe some challenging bosses and a lot of fun to play with your friends as well.
Fantastic. Okay, so it's been 10 years since the infamous Diablo 2. What can players expect that the sequel would bring this extra that Diablo 2 already didn't?
Well, the biggest difference is probably that the skill system is so changed. So you've got a lot more skills that are viable per class. So you can really play around with all those skills and customize the way that your character, both the way that they look and the way that they play. Another thing is that we've really driven a lot more of the story into the game without getting in the way of the gameplay. It's got a much deeper story, a much more involved story. And then we've done a lot more in terms of randomization, where not only do you have randomized dungeons and randomized encounters with monsters, but you also have randomized scripted sequences and things like that. So you're going to find a little bit deeper of a randomized gameplay experience.
Okay, and that's something I really wanted to pick up upon. A lot of players who've played Diablo 2 for a very long time, they feel that towards the end of the game, once you've reached that higher level, it really was just down to getting those perfect items on the randomized sequence. So, I mean, are we expecting a similar sort of end game play that you can get from Diablo 2, or will there be some sort of new instances and stuff like that, or would it be the same boss over boss?
Well, we want to get away from just doing boss runs as a way to get items in the game, so there's lots more ways to do that. So just replaying portions of the game is just as good as doing boss runs. So there shouldn't be like a favorite place to go. I think you can just pick the areas or the things that you want to do as a player and do those to get your items. Another big change is that we put a lot of investment into our crafting system. So we have a much more officialized crafting system that's much deeper than it was in Diablo 2. And there are a lot more ways to go about engaging in that system.
And just to pick up on the crafting system, I mean, in comparison to Diablo 2, you really couldn't get uniques from the crafting system. You could only get, how I would explain to like someone who plays WoW, myself, you could only get really green items from the crafting system. And can we expect like new uniques and stuff like this in Diablo 2 from Diablo 3, or are we also expecting new items to be produced and stuff like that?
Well, in Diablo 2, you could create something like a unique item through the runeword system. So but that was a system that required you to have to really understand everything about the way that it worked, and you had to go out to a website to understand what to do. It's either that or there was a lot of trial and error, and that trial and error was really painful. So we've restructured that into a much more carefully crafted system that doesn't require you having to exit the game in order to figure it out. Is a little bit more forgiving and telegraphs more what you would want to expect. And yes, you'll be able to make really powerful items with it.
Okay, brilliant. Now to look onto some of the other new features. In Diablo 2, something that was maybe not as refined as modern games now was the PvP system. A lot of people are wondering, is that going to change in Diablo 3? Will that be improved? And wondering your thoughts on that.
Well, the intent with the PvP system is that to create a separate space for PvP. So it will be more refined in that we are creating that space, and it's not just haphazardly presented throughout the world. You aren't going to be unwantedly ganked by your friends or even your enemies. You have to enter into a space where that's going to happen. And that allows us to really to segment it out into a place that is friendly for those people who want to do it, but doesn't really, have a negative impact on the people who don't. It also allows us to craft the space in which PvP occurs, so that when it does occur, it's in a more controlled environment. So that allows us as developers to actually improve the fun elements of the PvP system, because people won't just be able to run away from you necessarily.
Okay, switching away from the features that the game has, I'm going to go into something that a lot of people are really bothered about in Diablo 2, which is actually like third-party bots and stuff like that. And I'm wondering if in Diablo 3 anything has been done to sort of overcome this sort of automated system where people really can cheat their way through the game.
Well, certainly the gameplay experience is a really big issue for us going into the development. So one of the early decisions we made was that we were going to support online play all the time. And by having it structured that way means that there aren't other methodologies to play the game where people could manufacture items offline or create systems offline and then bring them into the online world and ruin everybody's game. So it's the intention there is to really craft a secure environment that is very similar to the kind of security levels that we have in games like World of Warcraft.
Okay, fantastic. So Diablo 3 is now here. People are now able to purchase Diablo 3 and stuff like that. Is there anything in store for the future of Diablo 3? Maybe any hints toward like downloadable content or expansion packs and stuff like that?
Well, it's too early for us to talk about anything like an expansion or anything like that, because we're really just been focusing on getting the game to launch today. We know that we most likely won't do any kind of segmented downloadable content. That's probably not the model that we want to go for. But it's really too early for us to talk about anything beyond that.
Okay. Well, I'm going to ask you. Thank you for your time, and. That is all I have to say. And everybody check out Diablo 3. It's out in stores today. Us at Heaven Media will be pushing the game forwards. And thank you for having us with us.
Oh, thank you.
I don't think it's safe here.